and welcome to another segment of Everyday Enlightenment at 11:11. And I want to just dive into it today because things are a little intense in America. And I'd like to talk about witnessing the divide and then 3 things that you can do to support yourself right now. So regardless of your belief system or your belief systems, and regardless of where you fall on the current political scale, if you're even on the scale, this is the time to stretch yourself, to expand, and to really practice focusing on holding that unity that everybody talks about. Because you can talk a big game, and then when challenge comes, how do you walk the talk, right? So practicing holding the unity inside versus versus contracting and separating and finger pointing. So this is really important because lots of fun people joining here. This is really important because one of those perspectives makes you stronger. One of those perspectives makes us stronger as a community and as a collective, versus the other perspective, the other perspective is much more divisive. The other perspective, perpetuates an us versus them mentality, and the other perspective helps to instill the sense of fear, right? So as I've said before, how you feel inside and what you hold inside is what you see outside of you externally. And so I know if you're watching this, you probably don't want to see what we've been witnessing in the United States anyway, of what we've witnessed lately, right? And so even though what's being presented to us on the screens, you have to know that it isn't entirely accurate. So this is a great time to use your discernment. And it's a great time to go back to trusting your gut about what is true and what is not. So discernment is key here, but you have to but even though what we're seeing on the screens, we're seeing the upset, and that there's unrest, and that there is this clash of energies happening. And a lot of this is because we've reached a critical time in our collective human evolution on this planet, where we've entered into this different age. We've entered into the age of Aquarius. We've entered into the golden age. And we've reached a point where we can access 5th dimensional energies and above here on Earth, which is pretty amazing. And if you don't know what those things are, go look them up. Age of Aquarius, golden age, and 5D and above, right? And it's a really amazing time. But the denser energies, the slower vibrating frequencies of fear, of shame, of blame, of powerlessness, of rage and anger, those frequencies aren't necessarily supported in the space that we're moving into. So we're kind of doing this big collective purge, if you will. And anytime you purge, it's not exactly comfortable or, looks good. So we're in this purging stage, right? Because we can't bring that stuff with us to where we're going. And I'm not saying that it's wrong if you're feeling those emotions, because we are, we're going through a lot right now. And feeling those emotions and those frequencies are one way of processing them. So it's a good thing. But I am saying that if you are feeling them, it's time to step up, and it's time to increase your self-responsibility. Because anytime something outside of you is making you feel a certain way, that's manipulation. It's called a trigger for a reason, right? Because it pushes your buttons, right? And so when you are sovereign unto yourself, and when you hold your own light, you get to decide how you feel. Only you get to decide how you respond, or if you respond. And that's because you're the boss of you. Everybody should be the boss of themselves, number one, before they do anything for anybody else. So you get to respond and you get to witness how things are unfolding from a place of sovereignty. So this is a great time to practice self-responsibility because the divide is so clear and the contrast that we're seeing is so obvious, right? And so it doesn't matter where you are in this division. It doesn't matter what side you're on, or if you picked a side, or if you haven't picked a side, or like, you know, that's more duality mentality, right? So it really doesn't matter where you are, because the truth is that the truth will be revealed and that the light wins. So know that if you're feeling anxious or worried about how things are going to work out, or, you know, for your safety and things like that. So the truth is that the light wins and we get through this. You know, we're going through some stuff, but the truth will come out regardless. So in the meantime, it's up to us to process and to clear and to let go of whatever triggers you may have that keep you from believing that you're separate from somebody else who may not have, or who may hold an opposite view from your view. Or it's time to let go of the triggers also that, you know, you think you might not be as strong as you think you are to feel good and to stay empowered in yourself right now, because what you're seeing on the screens is telling you to be in fear constantly. Okay, so we kind of want to wake up to those ways that our psyche is being manipulated, right? So I could go on and on with examples, but my point is that the real work is inside, right? It's always the case. The real work is inside. And when you see something externally that you don't agree with, or that might make you feel a little all of a sudden, you know, or because there's a lot of that right now, just take a moment and do a little self-excavation. Do a little self-excavation and see, like, ask yourself questions like, why is this so troubling to me? Why am I having this reaction? And then just dig a little deeper, And this isn't, you know, it doesn't have, don't be mean to yourself, but you get to hold compassion for yourself too, because we're all going through this together. So the 3 things that I wanted to share with you that you can do right now, if you're feeling a little crispy around the edges, are, the first one is to just observe. Observe and don't absorb, because there's so much information coming at you all hours of the day. And so it's good to take a step back and just observe, just like have your awareness open, but don't absorb any of that stuff that's coming at you. And it's great. I always talk about entangling your energy with other things. And so when you observe and you slow down, you can just be like, oh, I'm just going to see that. And I'm not going to like put any angst or any worry or any anger towards that. Okay. So it kind of like helps to, you know, cut the connection there. And so disentangle your energy. So observe is step number 1. 2 is to take a breath and pull your energy back in, because that will help cut the connection, and that will help stop the siphoning of energy from you to the thing that you're giving your energy and attention to. I kind of like overlaid that with the first point, but you know what I mean. And so if there's something there that is instilling a strong reaction in you, take your time to be gentle to yourself and to give yourself a moment, whether you journal it out, dance it out, scream it out, yell it out, and just see what comes, because we have to stop being afraid of the intense emotions that we have. We get to excavate them. We get to figure out what they're holding for us. And oftentimes the emotion is overlaying some sort of belief, and that's getting challenged. Okay. And so a lot of it comes down to security, safety, and fear right now. Okay. So just do a little excavation. And then the third point is to envision. Envision what you want to create. Put your energy towards the things that you want to experience, towards the world that you want to live in, towards the things that bring you joy and uplift you and make you feel amazing. Because that's we want to pull our energy from the things that don't make us feel so good and put it towards the things that do make us feel amazing. And that's how we shift that contracted, like fear-based energy into this expansive joy-based energy. So we get to do this individually in ourselves first, and then we get to, as more people do it, it's the tipping point, and then we get to do that for the collective and the community. So we got this. We're doing it. We're in the trenches right now, but it's okay because we're creating a new world. So I hope that was helpful for you, and I hope you guys have a very, very wonderful week.